seats of power. For more than 2 decades, we've searched the world for those leaders. We've partnered with 18,000 of them to build the skills and networks they need to soar. We've learned women lead differently, using their power to empower others, not themselves. And that difference is precisely what is needed now, more than ever. The world faces extraordinary challenge. But there are women leaders who walk among us with bold and innovative solutions, waiting for their moment. Now, a world you want to live in. At Vital Voices, we celebrate women leaders. Join us.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Kate James, Chair of the Vital Voices Board. And this is a great audience. And I'm delighted to welcome you all officially to the Vital Voices Global Headquarters for Women's Leadership. That sounds great. And I want to thank you all for coming to hear the first of what will be many conversations in this incredible and still evolving space. Over the next 3 days, you'll hear from some brilliant thinkers, some courageous activists, talking about some of the world's most pressing issues, from climate justice to the crises in Ukraine and Afghanistan. And we'll also have the opportunity to learn about some of the amazing work the Vital Voices team with the global network of women and partners are doing around the world, bringing ingenious approaches to some of the most enduring problems, from domestic violence to economic inequality. You know, I'm incredibly proud to have been involved with Vital Voices now for more than 10 years, and I was thrilled in late 2019 to take on the board chair. In retrospect, my timing might have been a little bit off. Because as you all know, the end of 2019, the world changed. This could have been a catastrophic moment for Vital Voices, no doubt. It could have been a stop on our programming, on our support, and most importantly, on our ambition. But actually, thanks to the amazing team at Vital Voices, it was quite the opposite. While others moved backwards, we moved forward. We increased our programmatic offering, responding to new and emerging needs. We increased our emergency funding and forged new partnerships in terms of crisis response. Vital Voices really is an extraordinary organisation. And not only, and this makes me incredibly proud, did the team adopt its new business model to ensure that it could work during COVID, but also during that incredibly difficult time, they stepped back and they worked on their culture, and to this day continue to do so, to increase our diversity and inclusion, to set us up for success, but most importantly, to make us a better organisation. Vital Voices, and this is what I love about it, is relentless in the pursuit.
Minted, extraordinary tech CEO, founder and CEO of Moss, Amira Yayawi. And finally, the woman who inspired it all, Secretary Hillary Clinton. All right. So, Secretary Clinton, we're, of course, going to start with you right off the bat. We're obviously in the midst of really a time of extraordinary upheaval. We've had a global pandemic. We know that it did not help promote or advance women and girls. It disproportionately set women back to the tune of what? The World Economic Forum.
That light and that opportunity to continue to advocate for, create change, and support others who are doing so. So in an ironic way, certainly not, I'm sure, intended, I think the events in our own country of the last week, certainly the impact of the pandemic on women and girls, which was disproportionate, the horrific attack by Putin's Russia on a neighboring country, and the impact that that's had on...
Be powerful. They may not have necessarily formal power, but they are having massive impact around the globe. And Ka, you and I talk a lot about power, because I think for so long I would hear women say again and again, I don't want power because, it corrupts, it's dirty. I don't want power. I want to have impact. I want to change lives. And I know you tell women, no, we need power. We need to redefine it.
Yes, absolutely. First, it's just such a tremendous moment, and do it right. And we cannot trust the people who have built the current power infrastructure to transform it. That's right. Yes. These women here need to step in and transform it. And Elise, you know that to me, I work every day to become the president of Cameroon, and that will happen. But it also means stepping into space at the World Bank, at the IMF, not just as women, not just to have a woman there, but to transform it. When I was coming here, I held a meeting with 15 Cameroonian women who do amazing work on the ground. And I said, I'm going to Washington. What do you want me to say? And their message was very clear. We need to put the human being back at the center of power. And that is what we do as Vital Voices women.
Knowing the mother that you came from, you had no choice but to be a powerful woman. And in so many ways, and actually the world needs that difference. You've talked about this being your third act. I know there's a fourth and a fifth and a sixth, but okay, your third act. Why have you dedicated so much to women's power? And actually, one of my favorite things about Diane is that every day when she gets up, the first thing she does is she does something good for someone else. She sends an email on someone's behalf. She makes a call. Before she thinks about herself, she does something for someone else. And I know this is true because I know the people she's calling. Sometimes it's me. I know the people she's doing favors for. Often it's me or women across the network. So Diane, why do you use your power to empower women in particular?
Okay, before I answer, I want to share something with you, because sometimes you wake up and before you actually get up, you really feel like a loser, right? We all feel like losers. Only losers don't feel like losers. And so I will share with you what I do and my trick. And it's a really good one. All the tricks that women know have accumulated over the years. But remember, we have to take our power. And we'll all go to her inauguration.
And actually, Ka, I'm sure the first stop when you make your, state visit will be this building to give that big speech.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's important for us to have it.
So. But that's what you use every day. This is the tool that defines your life. This is the tool that defines our future. This is what helped some horrible people win elections in this country. These are the tools. And I know you know, and everybody here knows the power of technology. The problem is we're already way too much behind. It's freaky what's going on. We're so behind. This is constitutions and countries. If you look in the history of
how democracy has been built. Democracy has been built by Silicon Valley. We need to make sure that girls are not just users, but they are builders. And that is a lot of work that needs to happen.
So, Secretary Clinton, coming back to you.
Have said, I think it's really important to understand how the deck is stacked against women's progress and against human rights. And it's gotten more sophisticated. And Amir, thank you for talking about technology. Because as someone who has tried to sound the alarm about what technology is doing to us, it's really quite frightening. And as we think about that landscape, the people making the decisions, it's not even, you say men, it's a very small number of men. And they have the same kind of thinking and mindset and worldview, and they are literally determining how we communicate and how we understand, how we think of ourselves, and they are responsible, to go to Diane's great point, of instilling a lot of doubts in us. I mean, you look at what's happening to young people, particularly young women, they are becoming quite impacted by what they see on those phones that they are glued to and what it's doing to their own sense of autonomy and agency and what our challenge is. I can't read like Amanda Gorman, however. So today, everyone's eyes are on us as we rise. Today is the day women are paving the way, speaking our truth to power. In this hour, it is our duty to find the brave beauty in rooting for other women so they too know we are not victims, we are victors, the greatest predictors of progress. We press for change. That's what I'm going to be doing.
Yes. For those of you who don't know, the phenomenal portrait on the outside of the building is Amanda Gorman, and she's been part of Vital Voices Network for 7 years. And just as we have been proud to watch her rise and rise and rise, we watch so many women rise and rise. And I think what is beautiful about this network is that they always come back. They always look to bring back and support the network and truly use their power to empower. We talk about power, and obviously money is critical. We can't talk about power without talking about money, and we know that so little of it is in the hands of women, whether it be those, Amira, as you talk about, who are, at the decision-making table, decide where they're going to put their money and others' money, or philanthropy, right? I mean, we all know that the world can't move forward if half the population's left behind. You said this 27 some years ago. But yet, so little money is invested in women. We can't solve the, sustainable development goals if women don't have equality. We don't have a chance, right? So, Diane, the way you think about this, and you think about investments. Amira talked about how what we do at Vital Voices, and it's absolutely true, we are venture catalysts, right? We find the brilliant leaders. We don't tell them, here's what you need to do. We basically say, we know and believe in what you're doing already. You see the problems, you see the solutions. We just need to get behind you. And you see that as well, because I think it's so important, Diane, because so many people look and tap heads. They think, okay, how many people did I invest in, right? How many, right? How many, thousands of people did I tap? But it's so much more than that. It's about going deep and supporting leaders for the long run in a holistic way. Is that how you think about it? And how do we convince more people that it's not just one and done, tap ahead? It's not about that. It's not about a mile wide and an inch deep. It's about going deep and supporting these leaders on their journey.
What is your question?
How do we convince?
I'm so impressed that Hillary can read without the glasses. That's all. I mean, that's like overblown. And we are the same age.
Okay, so Diane. Well, actually, just say whatever you want.
Okay. Oh, no, I think that, I don't know. I tend to look, listen, when you wake up in the morning and you hear, what's going on, it's so depressing and it's so dark, and yet we have to get up and we have to move on. So how do you do it other than looking in the mirror and say, if I doubt my power, blah, blah, blah. So I think that there's a lot of, we have more women prime minister and presidents today than ever before, right? We've had incredible leaders. We miss Mrs. Merkel so badly right now. But there is a lot of... so we have to look at the light and look at the positive. Look at this global network that is these women. When you say women's leaders, these women are not prime ministers. These women work on their field and they fight against, domestic violence and then they get, they build this incredible refuge for women and then they get acid thrown at them and then they start again and they start again. These women on this network, the reason I say badass is not just because I want to make people laugh, but because they are. These women are role models. There are a lot of women role models right now. And we just have to give them the voice. We have to use whatever voice we all have. We have to use our voice, our experience, our knowledge, our connections, our resources in order, for making it better. And it's an emergency. Women have to take power. And you don't say it all out like that because you get, but that is what each one of us have to say. And you have generation of little girls now. They don't take, they are way better. So we have to, we just have to look for the positive and just build it and use seduction and use whatever, flatter these men. Just make them feel like they're so big. Who cares? Just say, yes, you're so good, you're so inspiring. And meanwhile, you do what you want to do. That is what I want us to do.
Ka, speaking of redefining things for the future, I know that's what you are doing all over Africa and starting